Welcome to our new cable show about North Reading Public Schools. My name is Kathleen Willis, Superintendent of Schools, and I will be your host for this show. We hope to highlight a variety of topics for you that provide insight to the community about what's taking place inside our school district. And I'd just like to offer, if you have any suggestions for topics that you would like to see covered by this show, please feel free to send me an email at kwillis@north-reading.k12.ma.us. The focus of today's show is to introduce to you our two newest members of our central office administrative team. I am so pleased to welcome Michael Connelly, who is our new Director of Finance and Operations, and he began his position on July 1st, 2013. In addition, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Valerie Ardi-Flynn, who is our Interim Director of Pupil Personnel Services, and she began her position in the North Reading Public School District on July 22nd, 2013. So I have a few questions that I'm going to ask them today so that they can share with you some of their experiences and allow you to get to know them. So we'll begin with our first question. And I'm going to start with Michael, and then Valerie will have the same opportunity to answer. So I'd like them to please describe your background that prepared you for this position in North Reading.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm very excited to be here, and very excited to be here in North Reading. And I feel like I have had a well-rounded background that's really prepared me for this position in North Reading. I graduated from Babson College in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in business management. From there I went into the corporate world for a couple of years and kind of quickly learned that maybe that wasn't for me, and I had an opportunity to get into the educational kind of business world at Excel Academy Charter School, which was a charter school in East Boston, and it was a startup charter school. So from there, I wore many hats and was exposed to all different areas of school finance, school operations, food service, custodial services, and really, I thought, found my calling. I really enjoyed the position and enjoyed being connected to students and trying to find opportunities for them. So I then had an opportunity to move on to the Wellesley Public Schools as the assistant business manager in the office. And from that opportunity, learned really the whole, the different operations of an entire business office, from accounts payable to payroll, and it was a very unique, challenging experience. I did that for a few years, and then felt very much ready to move on to a head, director of finance position in the Wakefield school system, where I was for 4 years, and really learned a lot about tough fiscal times through the challenging economic downturn 2009 through 2012, and trying to find the resources to do more with less and keep and maintain educational programs. So as I really learned a lot in that position. And then for this most recently, I come here from Lincoln-Sudbury Regional School District, and that was a very valuable experience for me because I really learned kind of the whole big picture of school finance. And a regional school district does operate sort of separate from a town, and from there I was able to learn about budget, having everything incorporated in your budget. For a regional, you have the benefits, you have insurances, you have the full gamut of budgeting, and I really learned and developed a much greater appreciation for the work that Town Hall does, and that the importance of that partnership. And so I felt all those experience definitely has qualified me for the position here in North Reading. Along the way, I added a master's degree at Cambridge College, and I sat at the table with many educational leaders and principals, and I learned a lot about the important educational components of the position and how those are connected with the school finance aspect and the operation of the district, and learned a lot about the curriculum and things I wasn't directly involved in, and I think that's been extremely very helpful to me. So when I hear the educational leaders of the district talk about the curriculum and understanding by design, that's now a book I've read and I have an awareness of it. So that's something that's been very, very helpful to me. So that's what brings me here today, and I'm definitely enjoyed my tenure here over the last 6-7 weeks, getting to know everyone in North Reading, and I live just down the road in Reading with my wife and family, so I'm very much excited to be here in North Reading.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Great.
Valerie?
Thank you. I too am absolutely delighted to be here today, but even more to be working in the North Reading Public Schools. I started my career at age 16 working with children with disabilities when I did a community service project with children with preschoolers with disabilities when I was in my senior year of high school. And I was hooked from the start. I then went to Delphi University on Long Island, got my bachelor's degree in early childhood and elementary ed, then went on to get a master's in special education, and then furthered my career by going for a doctorate at Boston College as well in school administration with an area of concentration in special education. I worked for a number of years as a special education teacher, and then fairly early on in my career I became a special ed administrator, starting in the Newton Public Schools until my retirement from the Needham Public Schools 3 years ago. After I retired, I was continuing to teach graduate school as I had done through most of my career, but found that I truly missed working in public schools, and I truly missed working with children with disabilities and their families. To me, there had been no greater reward than watching the achievements of children with disabilities and to celebrate those achievements with their families. These were achievements that years ago no one thought was possible, but because of where our school systems have evolved and what the area of special education instruction has become, we now see gains for children that we never thought possible. That to me has been my reward, and it's what brought me back into the field. And so I come in now as an interim special ed director and could not be happier.
We're pleased to have both of you.
Thank you.
So Valerie, continuing along that thought process, what do you believe are the most important aspects of your position as the Director of Pupil Personnel Services?
Do you have an hour?
I do, but I don't think the community does.
The first piece for me in coming in as an interim, and I've been an interim at another time, so I've had a little bit of experience being an interim, and the first part that I think of is that I don't look at the job as being an interim. For the time that I'm here, I'm going to invest in the district as if I thought I would be here for another 5 or 10 years. I'm getting older, that's really probably not in my future. But the most important part to me is to come in and to look at this wonderful school system, which, though I've only been here for 3 weeks, I've had the opportunity to meet so many people that I really know the value of this school system. So I see that my job is to protect the core of the school system, the mission, the values of the school system, and at the same time to hope to inspire progress in what the school system is doing. And when I say protect the core, what I mean are the values, the people, the wonderful principals. I've met an extraordinary number of staff already, and I've seen summer programs that have convinced me that what this system and the values and the belief system of this school system is what is right for children. And at the same time, so to protect that, but at the same time to say there are areas that we can always enhance, that we can always move forward. And how do we do that? We do that by looking at data-driven, research-based instructional strategies and looking at those and saying, how do we apply them to what's going on now, and how do we enhance the instructional practices that we're already doing in special education and in general education, because I don't just see myself as the administrator of pupil personnel services for children with disabilities, but I see that I'm part and parcel of the whole, and I look to help to support the entire school system as we all move ahead to help educate all children.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Similarly, Michael, what do you see as the most important aspects of your position as the Director of Finance and Operations?
I think first and foremost, I need to guide the administrators, the district, the school committee into being able to make informed decisions that are in the best interest of students, and decisions that are financially sound, but also keep in mind what is going to be first and foremost best for the students and the strategic goals of the district, and meet the district's educational mission. Secondly, I think the big major aspect of my job is in the budget development aspect, and I see that as really being a sort of a three-part process. Is certainly being able to assist the superintendent, the district, and the school committee on developing a fiscally sound, educationally sound budget, and then once that budget is developed, being able to properly manage that budget, have oversight of that budget, to inform the superintendent in the district when there is changes that could impact that budget along the way, and also ensuring that the funds are being spent that were voted and appropriated for their intended purpose. So it's the first part is the development of that process, then it's the oversight and the monitoring of that process, and then it's the last part is guiding the district through properly closing out that process and beginning the next fiscal year. So that is, I think, the two big aspects of the position. The third piece is staying on top of all relevant laws and financial state laws and regulations that govern that position. That I think is also one of the most challenging pieces of the position, because they're constantly changing. So you need to make sure that you're always up to date and staying on top of them, because those are going to impact many of the decisions that happen in the district, both financially and as well as in the education environment. So that can be a challenging piece, but it's a very important aspect. The other aspect of the job is also there's several state reporting requirements, and I think I see my role as being to ensure the successful completion and timely completion of these reports, because those reports directly feed the Chapter 70 or state aid that school districts receive from the state. If they're not completed correctly or in a timely manner, it will impact that very important state aid that we do receive, and that certainly North Reading certainly anticipates. So that's certainly an important piece. And then the other piece that I find the most interesting and the most exciting part of the job is I always look at it as my responsibility to constantly aggressively pursue and research any avenues of efficiencies or cost-saving measures that could be realized either throughout the budget process or in any decision that I certainly oversee in the operations of the district. Because if there could be efficiencies and cost savings realized to transfer funding into areas that are in need in the district to allow us to reach our long-term goals and to put the funds in the classroom, that's where I feel very rewarded as in my role. And I think that's always an important part of my position.
Great point. Just two more questions. Michael, as you think about your entry plan and working in a new school district, what are some of your immediate goals for the near future?
So I think my immediate goals is to ensure, first and foremost, a very smooth transition into this position. So there's obviously a lot to learn and to get myself up to speed on the position. And I think my immediate goal is to familiarize myself with the current procedures and policies of the district, to learn about the culture of the district. I think that's very important, the culture of not only the school district but the community and the goals of the community, and really sort of embed myself into that culture, into that learning process. And I think it's important in that process is you talk with as many, not only school officials, town officials, community members, as you can in your opening weeks on the position. And that's certainly what I've tried to do and take advantage of the summer months to do that. So I think my immediate goal is the transition of the district, and also to come in and try to take maybe a fresh set of eyes at some of the procedures and processes and the budget, and try to make my list of of things that could help the district going forward, whether they be in the short term or the long term, and try to become a valuable member of the administrative team and to that school district and that community to move the district in the right direction.
Thanks. Valerie, even though you'll be with us for a somewhat short time, 1 year flies by, as you know, we still have this notion of entry plan for you as well. And so what are some of your short-term goals?
I think there are some goals that are important no matter whether you're going to be in position for 5 years, 10 years. In special education, one of the pieces that we always must look at is, are we complying with the law? Are we complying with the mandates? That is a given, but we always must keep in balance and keep in check, checking ourselves to make sure that that's happening. The second piece you'll like, Michael, is that I see that I must also be fiscally responsive to the district as a whole, and to look at programs and services to ensure that students are getting the free and appropriate education that they're entitled to, but also to look for ways to do that so that we stay within a budget, and we look at keeping the system as a whole strong, because for many of our children with disabilities, we also want them to spend part of their day, if that's appropriate, all of their day, if it's appropriate, within typical general ed classrooms. Well, we want those classrooms to remain strong so that the environment that those children are in is a strong one and is good for all the children in the class. So that becomes another piece. Also in the short term, I have to get to know people pretty quickly. So I've already begun that process. I've met all the principals. So I look at having to have an open door policy so that people can feel comfortable with me right from the beginning. I don't have time people to get comfortable with me in a few months. I need to keep an open door so that people feel that they can come to the office, or I can go to them wherever they are, and that I will listen, that I will communicate with them, that I can also make decisions fairly quickly upon listening or hearing if someone presents a challenge, to brainstorm with them how we're going to solve these problems. I don't have the luxury of time, but then again, when we're looking at children, we don't have the luxury of time, because as we know, every day that they are in school is a day in school. And that is their life, that is what they're living, and we don't want to delay in doing that. So I look at it in terms of supporting all of the staff and the parents in ways in which they need from me, and looking to be of service to them in those ways. And yet at the same time also being able to come up with some creative new solutions and make determinations about programs and services for students that maybe are different than what we've done previously, based on my experiences, my knowledge, and my background.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
So in closing, what message would you like to leave with the community?
I've been fortunate that, and I said this at school committee, that everybody in life has a vocation, and mine aligned with my profession. So each and every day that I come to North Reading, I'm doing the work that I've always valued and believed we should be doing on behalf of children. So what I hope is that people will reach out to me, will feel comfortable to share with me concerns, words of praise for staff who are working with their children, that staff will feel that they can share with me challenges that they have, and know that they will get somebody who will support them and to come to solutions that make sense for children and make sense for them. And that in the short time I'm here, that I can provide a service to this community that's in keeping with the values of the community, because the values here are strong, they're good, and I want to be part of that growing and part of the support to the administration structure as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Michael, for you?
I feel, like the community know that I believe in having a strong, community community, bond with everyone in the community. I certainly take pride in being very responsive to any questions or inquiries that the community may have, whether it's on the school budget or on the process or any needs they may have on anything related to the financial operation of the school district. So I also believe in having the importance of having that open door policy, and I would like the community to know if they have any questions or would like to just understand more about the school budget process. I think it's very important that the community is well educated on the process and the various operating budget subsidies and additional resources that the school departments receive through the superintendent and through the school committee. I would be more than willing to answer any questions that the community may have to assist them. And I'm certainly someone that believes in transparency. It's very important to me, and I am certainly a very dedicated, hardworking person, and I'm very much looking forward to my time here in North Reading and working hard on behalf of the community.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank both of you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure working with you up to this point, and I really look forward to working with both of you over the course of the new school year. And I'd just like to let you know that next time I will be joined by Dr. Patrick Daly, who is the Director of Academic Services. And we will be taking a look at what is contained in our Continuous Improvement Plan known as NRPS 2016. So until that time, I'd like to share one of my favorite quotes with you by John Dewey, who is a philosopher and a psychologist. And he stated, "Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself." Thank you.